So what's up, guys? Our program is the ERI student registration system and also its database. We use NetBeans for this one and Microsoft Access to have our database stored locally. So first off, I was going to make the database on my SQL localhost, but I thought that pag nawala ng internet like that, like for example, nawala ng internet and hindi mo i-store yung database or hindi siya mapupull up kasi nga through online siya. So, pinalitan ko siya dahil mas maganda siguro pag localize na lang yung database and pwede siya ma-transfer from another hard drive. So, yeah. So, start tayo sa database natin. It's very simple student database lang. It's stored here and it can be edited from the section, grade, from the date, the gender of the student, and the student ID can be entered as well. So yeah, this is our database. We had the sample runs with this one, and now onto the program. So our program consists of two classes. It's the student registration, the registration form, and this is the design for it. Here it is compact, unlike the other one that uses about 2-3 classes for it to work. So what I made here is nilagay ko na rin yung table dito. So we can see kung sino yung mga registered student. The bad side of this one is it doesn't have the search bar unlike the other one, but that can be implemented as well. So the other form is the edit one. So I added edit button, so just in case we made a mistake on entering a student information here, we can edit and that could change in real time. So onto the source codes. Firstly, in the registration form, we have a lot of imported packages here. Firstly, we import the Java SQL connection so we can establish the connection to our database. Next is the driver manager, so the you can access driver can work properly and establish the connection smoothly. Next, we have the prepared statements here. So once we click on add, it will show the message that the student has been registered. Next is we have the result set. What this does is it shows the table there on the program. It will show the table there on the. It will get the database and show it on the table on the program. Next one is the result set metadata. Is basically this just lists down all the information on our database in Access. Next is the Sql exception. This one is used for like catching errors on the program itself. So if an error occurred in the program, it will show a message. Next is the Java text simple date format. This just allows us to select the date and have a calendar for it, and I'll show that later. Next is Java util vector. This will show you us the once we edit it, add information there, it will show that. Next is Java util login level, and that will show the utilities have been used and what logs have been made if there's an error or if a new log has been entered. Next is the Java Swing option pane. This is just the form itself, and it will open up a message once we entered a new user or information of a student. This is Java Swing table. This just shows the default model of the table itself. Next, we have public class registration form. Once it's run, it will show the form. This one here, this design here. Next is we have this one in components, like it will show all of the components that we have entered and place it on the table. Next is the table update. So once it runs, it will show the table immediately and what's the database on the table. Connection, I made this connection strings to have it run, so we can use the commands here. So for this one in the table update, this comes in later on. What we have to focus here is this one, class for name that access JDBC and you can access driver. This whole line of program sets the connection for the database and the program itself. And this will just show this string, the next string of codes here will just show the table on the program. I added all of the strings here that it will show on the table here. See this catch class not found exception, so it will catch all of the errors that has been made on the program. Next here is the strings. We have 11 strings, I believe, is the student ID, student name, parent guardian, age, gender, address, phone number, birthday, admission, grade, and section. So each one of these data is selected with this. The variable names for each one is unique, so it won't get mixed up with other fields. And for this ones, like the student name, student ID, parent guardian, age, phone number, and address, so whatever we type in the field, it will just get it and paste it on the database, and then it will show up on the table. For this one, the gender, grade, and section, I used a combo box for this one. The combo box just gives us the option to select what gender, it's either male, female, or the others. And same as the grade, it's 7 to 12. And the section is section A to O. Next one here, we have the simple date format for the admission date and birth date. This allows us to select the dates. This allows us to select the date and year of the desired student, and it will give us a calendar instead of just typing the date. This here, this command here allows us to access the database and establish its connection there. So once we're done in inputting the, for example, once we're done inputting the procedure or the patients here, the students here, it will enter all of these codes to the database. I mean, it will gather all this, the information, and will transfer it to the database. Same goes with this one. And after it's done, it will empty out the fields, and it will go back to student ID, so we can enter another from the student ID. And that's pretty much about it, aside from the last button, which is the exit button. It's just system.out exit or system.exit and 0 with